It is still so lonely at the top. Barca fans, you had your fun last season, but now it's back to reality. Daddy is home. You were acting like an unruly child. Your mother told me what you were doing and how you were being disrespectful. So I had to pull out that belt and whoop you to put you back into your place. Barca fans, let's be honest. You knew that you weren't going to win this game. You knew that you can't compare to Real Madrid. You know that your manager in his second season is a bum. You know all these things, but yet you were hard-headed. The way that you guys were talking in the comments, in the live chats, you would have thought that you've never experienced pain in an El Clásico. Well, you experienced pain yesterday when we put that belt to ass. Now, let me tell you something before we get into it. This is not a match reaction, okay? If you guys want that, click on the video that I dropped after the game was over. But what we're going to do is go over 5 things that we learned in El Clásico. Now, before we even get into it, right? I mean, look, in case you guys are living underneath a rock, Real Madrid absolutely dominated Barcelona at the Bernabéu. The 2-1 scoreline is very nice on the eye for Barca. It makes their fans feel better. It makes them think that this game was closer than what it really was. We should have bagged minimum 3 goals today in that match. But they got off the hook. And what's so funny is that I'm seeing all their fans chat absolute nonsense as if on a club level they can compare with Real Madrid. It's actually mad when you think about it. Not only, right, do Real Madrid have the most El Clásico wins, we have the most El Clásico goals, we have more UCLs, more La Ligas, more official titles. The only team in Spain under investigation for paying a vice ex-president is Barcelona. What are we doing here? You cannot compete where you don't compare. Barcelona are a big club, but they are not on Real Madrid's level. And it's like I tell you guys all the time, you should be on your knees thanking Real Madrid for winning UCLs. Because if it wasn't for us, no one would respect Spanish football when it comes to the Champions League. When it's time to go up against the best teams from the other countries, Real Madrid are the one that carries us against these other countries. Barcelona embarrass Spain every year. You are an embarrassment to Catalonia. You are an embarrassment to the country that you represent. But that's okay. Because this season, as I said earlier, it's back to reality. And I know that some of you guys are going to be triggered. And guess what? I don't care. Talk to me about the 3 injuries that you had. Because last season, when we had to play Lucas Vazquez in our back line, when we had all these other players going through injuries, were Barca fans giving us those excuses? No, you weren't. So don't come here expecting any sympathy from me. But I need you guys to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications. Get in the comment section and let me know what you're saying for this match. The first thing that we learned from El Clásico is that Lamine Yamal needs to shut the hell up. He is not that guy. I don't know what he thinks this is, but every time he opens up his mouth, every time he posts on Instagram stories, he gets embarrassed. This guy can clearly not back up the words that he's saying before matches. And the thing is, I defended Jamal. I like the fact that he talks some shit because it's a rivalry game. I think it adds to the excitement. But if you're not going to be able to back up what you're saying, shut the hell up. Lamine Yamal dropped a biblical stinker in El Clásico. Man was talking about how he scored against us at the Bernabéu, saying that Real Madrid are cheats, etc. This guy is a baller, right? Lamine Yamal is a fantastic footballer, but he's a stupid youth. Let's be real. Lamine Yamal got the IQ of a doorknob. Imagine talking about how Real Madrid cheat and how we complain when you play for a club that is currently in court over cheating. I bet you that Lamine Yamal's dumbass can't even tell us what the 5 charges that Barcelona are facing. But in case you don't know, Barcelona are currently in court right now. Luis Enrique has been called to go testify. Ernesto Valverde has to go testify. Joan Laporta has to go testify again. Your ex-president, like Rosal, etc., they've had to go testify in this Negreira situation. Do people want to know, since Lamine Yamal wants to talk about cheating and crying, do you guys want to know what the 5 charges are that Barcelona are currently facing? Bribery, corruption in sport, corruption in business, false administration, and falsification of documents. Those are their 5 official charges that they are in court for right now. So imagine talking about another team cheating and another team crying and complaining when that's the club that you play for. What a fucking idiot. And this is the third time that Lamine Yamal's, before a big game, went on Instagram and decided that he needed to be more of an influencer than a footballer, right? Let's not forget what happened in the Nations League final against Portugal. Let's not forget what happened when this guy went up against PSG. Let's not forget Nuno Mendes had to adopt him for that game. And then against Real Madrid, man like Alvaro Carreras cooking him. This guy's dad is annoying as hell. I remember a few months ago when his dad was placed in the hospital. I actually felt some sympathy for him. Now I feel like I understand where the other person was coming from in that situation. This guy's dad chats absolute nonsense. By the way, he's a Madrid fan. This guy was at the Madrid parade after we won the Champions League in 2022, and this guy was wearing a Madrid jersey. But I get it. Your son plays for Barca, so of course you're going to back Barca because that's who feeds your family. I get it. But my man before the match was on Instagram Live cooking a meal. Man said, I cooked them here, he cooks them there. Brother, you're not that guy. Your claim to fame is just riding your son's coattails. Nobody cares about you, bruv. Man is out here in a Cincinnati Reds hat. You look stupid. And then, after we beat them, this man posted his Instagram story. Fortunately, he's only 18 years old. See you in Barca. What does 18 years old have to do with anything? People act like Lamine Yamal is a kid. People act like Lamine Yamal is a toddler. 18 years old is an adult. If Lamine Yamal commits a crime right now, he's going to big people jail. He's not going to juvie. He's not going to where they send the young kid. He's going to where the 40-year-olds are, 35-year-olds, 50, 60. That's where he would be. So he's old enough to know or to face consequences. But every time stuff goes wrong for him. Oh, he's only 18 years old. Brother, so what? When he's 25? Oh, he's only 25 years old. Nobody cares, bruv. This guy was trash after talking all that smack. And then he is literally the reason why all this right here even went on. For people that don't know, I mean, look, after the game, there was some words that were being exchanged. Look at this. Look. Now watch him and Vinicius right here. Watch him and Vinny. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Yamal can hold that. Blood said, as long as he's winning, he can say whatever he wants. Fair enough. Well, you lost yesterday, and now you got to get cooked. You want to talk, now you got to hold smoke. But, yeah, that's the first thing that I learned, is Yamal needs to shut the hell up if he's not going to be able to perform in these big games. I can't lie. The second thing that I learned is that defensively, Alvaro Carreras is him. What a performance he had against Lamine Yamal. I'm going to be honest. A lot of people were nervous heading into this match about Alvaro Carreras because ever since that Madrid derby, he's just not looked as good as he did to start off the season. But that kind of defensive performance, fair enough. Alvaro Carreras, I think, had a very good game. Now, his passing looks shaky. I don't know what's happened to his passing lately. It seems like this guy is just struggling on the ball. But when it comes to the 1v1s, Yamal, I don't really think did anything against him. For the most part, Alvaro Carreras had Yamal in his pocket. Yamal was in the Alvaro Carreras penitentiary. Now, I got to hold my hands up and say, look, over the summer, he wasn't the guy that I wanted Real Madrid to sign at left back. I didn't understand why we always were just focusing on Alvaro Carreras, right? I thought there were other options that we could have looked at as well. But he's shown us this season, in every game for the most part, besides the Madrid derby, why he was picked. I think he fits what Xabi Alonso wants to do perfectly. I think his passing does need to improve, but in terms of just defensively and going forward, he seems like he is going to be one of the most complete fullbacks in the world. I mean, look, after the game, when he went home, he took out his iPhone, his keys, his wallet, and then Yamal tumbled out as well. It's actually mad. And you know what's crazy? This is not the first time that he's cooked Lamine Yamal. Last season at Benfica, he had some good performances against Barcelona as well. And I think Real Madrid definitely looked at that, and that played a part in why we went and got him. He's also Spanish, and he is also from our academy, but then he left to go to Manchester United's academy. So the club's familiar with him, and he's off to a good start. His first El Clásico. He's going to be going against Lamine Yamal for a very long time, right? They're going to be going band for band, like over the next damn near decade possibly. So you do need a fullback that can go out there and give him a hard time. We're not going to be able to sign Nuno Mendes. So if Alvaro Carreras can play like that in every El Clásico moving forward, I'm calm, to be honest. The third thing that I learned in El Clásico is that Pedri being compared to Jude Bellingham is arguably the best thing that's ever happened for his career. Because everyone in the world knows deep down inside that Jude is the best midfielder on this planet. The most complete midfielder in the world is Jude Bellingham. And he showed Pedri levels in this match. Pedri is a make-a-wish kid midfielder. Barca fans treat him like he drops a masterclass every single game. Well, against us, he was shit. And the thing is, I rate Pedri, but I think he's massively overrated. This guy does the basics at a high level and gets glazed, right? Jude showed him how to have a good performance and how to also get GA while doing that. These guys always go on about Pedri having pre-assist. Are you mad? Jude shows you how to just get the assist. Jude shows you how to get a decisive goal. Jude shows you how to do all that and still boss the midfield. Last season, Jude was playing with a shoulder injury. Got the surgery in the summer, and now you see him back to his best. Bossing Barcelona once again. That's what, 3 goals that he's now bagged on them, which were game winners? Come on now. Don't ever compare Pedri to Jude. This guy can do anything that you need in that midfield. Can play as a 6, an 8, a 10, a second striker, false 9, whatever. Jude can do it. This guy yesterday was my man of the match. He was right up there with Militao, Camavinga, right? I thought all these guys absolutely cooked. And Jude is 100% in the conversation for the best midfielder in the world. The hate that this guy gets is ridiculous. Just say that you don't watch Real Madrid week in, week out. Everybody thinks that it's only GA that he does. Brother, this guy's all-around game is the best. This guy is back there defending, wins the ball, and then in the same sequence is involved in the build-up and is also involved in the goal as well. It's mad when you think about it. And I think Xabi Alonso, who we're going to talk about in a little bit, got it spot on with how Jude was used. But never compare Pedri to my midfielder again. Never do that, bruv. It's crazy, man. This guy Pedri choked. Pedri yesterday in El Clásico. awful. Somebody tell me, and I will give Pedri one thing. He was a part of the reason why Barca scored, because I think he was the one that pressed Arda when we initially lost the ball. That's the only thing that he did in about 100 minutes. Let's talk about it. This is not a debate. It's not a debate, bro. Like, there's a reason why Pedri's come since he's been at Barcelona, and he's not accomplished half the things that Jude has. This guy, Jude, is doing things that Pedri can only wish and dream about. Jude in his first season, La Liga Player of the Year, Champions League winner. These are things that Pedri goes to bed thinking and wishing that he can do. The fourth thing that I learned is that Vinny's attitude needs to be fixed, because I do not like the reaction that he had when it was time to come off the pitch. When he was subbed out in like the 72nd minute, I think he overreacted. And the thing is, I understand that you don't want to get subbed off, right? Vinicius was having a very good game. Was absolutely cooking Julia Koundé. And I thought that Vinny, if he would have stayed on, might have got it some GA. And that's probably why he didn't want to come off. But when the manager calls your number, and when you have to come off the pitch, you cannot react the way that he did. Man walked straight into the locker room. He ended up coming back out. But the fact that after we beat Barcelona, I have to sit here and talk about your reaction to getting subbed, that to me is a disgrace. I know that Vinicius is an emotional guy, but he has to keep that in check. You cannot disrespect the manager and your team the way that you did in this moment. So even though Vinny had a good game, and he should be praised for that, we do have to talk about what happened. So when he was being subbed off, right, this is what he said to the manager. He said, me, coach, me, it's always me. I'm leaving the team. It's better I leave. Xabi Alonso says, come on, Vinny, damn it. And then Vinny says, while staring at the ceiling roof, fuck it. Now, look, how he acted, unexcusable, right? They asked Xabi Alonso about it. He said, regarding what happened with Vinicius, we will talk about it in private. That does need to be addressed. And then news came out that Real Madrid are not considering fining or taking any action against Vinny under any circumstance. The club views Vinny's reaction as a response to a technical decision that not only the player, but almost no one at the Bernabéu expected. Now, I understand why the club isn't fining him, because they understand he was upset just because he was passionate. But at the same time, I do think that Vinicius needs to apologize to Xabi. I think that Vinicius needs to apologize to his teammates. Not publicly, right? Maybe not publicly. But as long as he does that behind the scenes, and as long as we don't see anything like that happen again, then I'm calm. But we do have to remember, Vinny's contract expires in a year and a half. This summer is a make or break one, because if he does not sign a new contract, he has to be sold. So that is something to keep an eye on, because Vinny's not happy with being taken off, right? Xabi Alonso has not given him as much freedom as Carlo Ancelotti did, right? Xabi Alonso is being a little bit more strict with Vinny, and I don't know how he's going to respond to that. But he did have a good performance in El Clásico. The last thing that I learned, the fifth and final thing, is that Xabi Alonso is clear of Hansi Flick tactically. I tried to tell you this before the season started. You guys all laughed at me. Well, who had the better game plan heading into that match? Because I saw one manager adjust his tactics. I saw the other one continue to do the same thing that's put him in problem after problem after problem this season. Xabi Alonso, as a tactician, as a in-game manager, is clear of Hansi Flick. He had a masterclass yesterday, from the starting 11 to the substitutions. The only sub that I did not like was Arda Güler coming off for Brahim Diaz. But at the same time, Arda did not have a good game either. He was mid. So it's not like I can argue that Arda should have stayed on the pitch. I just didn't like that it was Brahim that was coming on. I would have preferred to see Ceballos be brought on in that moment. But Xabi Alonso was flawless. I think in the second half, we could have attacked a bit more, but the guy coached a game that should have ended, I'd say 3 or 4-1. The fact that we only left with 2 goals is a disgrace. Because all season, we've been creating so many chances, but we're just not clinical. We're not capitalizing on the opportunities that we create. And it feels like every game I have to say the same thing regarding that. So it's super annoying, to be honest. But this manager has gained trust from every Madrid fan. They said that we couldn't get it done in big games. We lost in the Madrid derby. There was a lot of pressure on him to get over the line against Barcelona, and he did exactly that. And like I said in the summer, in Xabi, we trust. But look, those are the 5 things that I learned from this match. I need you guys to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications, and get in the comment section and tell me something that you learned from this game. Big up to everybody that's watching. Get in the Discord. The link is down below. Barca fans, you can absolutely hold that.